To build a winning team, it takes great players who can make great plays and lots of teamwork. At Freedom, we practice teamwork every day. This year, we've opened Freedom North Broadway. Our team's gotten bigger, but our commitment to excellence remains the same. The Freedom team is proud to sponsor another winning team, the Kentucky Thoroughblades. Come out and see us at Freedom New Circle, Freedom North Broadway, and at Rupp Arena. Right, Lucky?
From first face-off to last playoff, KYT was the place to be for all the Thoroughblades' premier season action. Even before the season started, KYT was on board with the Blades, stirring up fan interest and bringing hockey to the Bluegrass in a big way. Then on December 15th, 1996, KYT made sports history with the first broadcast of a live hockey game to originate from Lexington, Kentucky. Now, you can follow your Kentucky Thoroughblades into their second season only on KYT. In touch with Kentucky sports for 40 years.
Quiet on the set, cue talent, and action.
From concept to completion, Video Editing Services is the source for complete communications. We do it all. Corporate training, marketing, education, commercials, video editing services, complete communications.
Okay, guys, that's a wrap.
Hi, my name is Ron DiGregorio, president of Your Kentucky Thoroughblades. Why do I say Your Kentucky Thoroughblades? Because this year you opened your hearts to our players, coaches, and staff. By any measure, you filled our inaugural season with excitement and enthusiasm. We started by setting an AHL single-game attendance record. Because of you, players throughout the American Hockey League recognize Kentucky as one of the best places to play if you played for the home team, and one of the toughest if you were a visitor. Because of you and your support, we made the playoffs and earned the respect of the whole hockey world. That's why we've put this special commemorative video together. We wanted something special for you, our fans, who made year one such a pleasure. We hope you'll enjoy looking back at the wonderful successes of the 1996-97 season, even as you look forward to the year ahead. Thanks so much again for your continued support.
Nestled in the rolling hills of the Bluegrass is a city known nationwide for its beauty, its splendor, its thoroughbreds. Lexington, Kentucky. Every spring, the Buglers' call sparks a rush of excitement and enthusiasm as some of the nation's finest thoroughbreds prepare to explode from the starting gate to test their speed and courage at the historic racecourse known as Keeneland. Soon, spring turns to summer, and then fall. Thoughts of the Commonwealth turn to the young men who compete on the floor at Rupp Arena. True thoroughbreds themselves who've gathered to battle at a place that bears perhaps the greatest name in college basketball. In 1996, Rupp Arena became even greater still as a sheet of ice covered its hallowed floor. A new sport arrived and quickly carved its place in the hearts of sports fans all over central Kentucky. The excitement, contagious. The atmosphere, outrageous. The action, incredible. Hockey is the game. Kentucky Thoroughblades is the name. The rumors became fact in late April 1995 with the announcement that professional ice hockey was on its way to Lexington. In January of 1996, season ticket sales began, and business was brisk. Less than 2 months later, the merchandise arrived with the opening of the Thoroughblades store in the Civic Center. Hockey jerseys and t-shirts began popping up all over central Kentucky. In May of 96 came the link to the big leagues, with the announcement that the Blades would be affiliated with the San Jose Sharks. A month later, Rupp Arena reverberated with the sounds of a dozen voices. Auditions for the Blades' public address announcer. Jim Barton was the lucky winner. About 10 days later, Rupp was noisy again. The Ice Age taking another leap forward with the start of construction on the ice rink. It wouldn't be long now. Soon, Jim Wiley was introduced as head coach of the Thoroughblades, and the Blades took to the streets of Lexington with a portable rink, winning new fans of all ages. Practice opened September 18th with a roster full of young talent. 10 days later came the final scrimmage, the last roster cuts, and the anticipation of opening night. October 4th, 1996. A date that will long be remembered in the annals of Central Kentucky sports. The day the excitement began. Opening night in Rupp Arena. The Kentucky Thoroughblades taking on the Carolina Monarchs. The Blades were hoping for an American Hockey League record crowd, and they weren't disappointed. 17,503 fans poured into Rupp Arena to witness a game that most didn't fully comprehend yet. But what they did know is that they loved the action, and they'd be back for more. On those special nights in Lexington, game nights, you could feel the horsepower of the Ice Age when the puck dropped in Rupp Arena. Thoroughblades hockey, the hottest game in town, on ice.
Okay, Ice Patrol, you were the first impression of this club. No pressure. Okay, no pressure. You were the first impression of this club once the players get off of the ice. That's all I'm going to say.
A trip to a Kentucky Thoroughblades game is a chance to see some great hockey, but it's so much more. The action begins even before the puck hits the ice.
One of the hardest things, I think, or the biggest challenges we had coming into this was trying to create an awareness and an education process for the people so that they would want to come to a hockey game. And once they came in, our job was really to hook them in. The most important thing is for us to really make it a show and an entertainment so that there's value added to the fans and their tickets.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Anytime that there's a stoppage in play, we have to have something planned that the fans are going to enjoy. And so what we have done is we have allowed ourselves to do that via the blimp drops, via the ice patrol, people who come out onto the ice and shoot T-shirts into the stands.
T-shirts are real hard commodities around here. You get hurt for T-shirts around here.
We number one, Ice Patrol. They come and see the action on the ice. Ice Patrol, baby, don't forget it. We're the man.
People have been really accepting and very fun to work with, and a lot of excitement. It's been a big learning process. But you know what? The first year is like your honeymoon. Because, you know, it's great, it's new, it's fun. And to me, the real challenge is going to be year 2 and really year 3. So I've got a few ringers I'm going to throw.
Rupp Arena is one of the great college basketball sites in America. It's certainly one of the biggest, and when the Kentucky Wildcats are playing, one of the loudest. But on several nights, when the Cats and the Blades made back-to-back home appearances, Rupp Arena did a quick change in just a matter of hours.
Immediately following the games, it's a beehive of activity.
We'll start over on stage left, pulling the 6-foot place.
Designed originally as a basketball arena, and it takes us just a little longer than it does some other arenas that were designed for hockey and basketball.
Your crew is responsible for getting everything off the ice. Next move, let's get the chairs down on the end riser.
Most facilities are using a 1/2 inch to 5/8 inch thick insulating material to lay over the ice. We opted for a number of reasons to use a thicker material.
Just take off right down through here is the most important takeoff that we've got, because everything else takes off of it.
And every time we make one of these changes, we get a little more efficient.
4 hours, 15 minutes, something like that's the max that we need to do in order for the basketball crew to come in and get started with their floor.
We are running here almost day and night. People just don't realize it because they only realize what's going on while they're here.
Guys, as soon as y'all get those set up there, back down to the end of the stage down here.
I never knew people eat that many peanuts in one place.
They sweep it, and after they sweep it, they'll come through and they'll mop it. And most of that work takes place in the middle of the night.
They feel like they're part of a happening here in Lexington, and they rightfully should, because without them, we definitely couldn't make it happen.
The Thoroughblades' inaugural season in Rupp Arena was filled with everything from finesse and grace to rock'em sock'em. All-world saves and bone-crushing hits. Enough said. Here are the best of the best. This goal by Steve Webb wasn't the prettiest of the season, but it may be the most memorable. As the first ever goal in Thoroughblades history, Chris LaPuma had only one breakaway all season, a game winner.
Pass to LaPuma, is onside, who has a breakaway. Chris LaPuma just out of the box, shoots and scores! Chris LaPuma just came out of the penalty box, and he beats Kotar.
And Chris Tansel ended the regular season in dramatic fashion.
Comes out in the slot, shoots and scores! Chris Tansel wins it in overtime over the
And finally, the best and only goal scored by a fan all season won Gail Heisel $25,000 in the accordion shot of a lifetime. The best in your face came from fan favorite goaltender Jamie Ram. After spending 2 seasons with Binghamton, Ram was shipped off to Kentucky to make room for a rookie. Ram returned with a vengeance on New Year's Eve, stopping 59 of 60 shots in a 4-1 victory. No questions asked, no guilt involved. The T-Blades' #1 rival quickly became the Hershey Bears. Ken Belanger lit the fuse when he hopped over the bench and blindsided AHL MVP goalie Jean-Francois Labbé. Kentucky went on to win 7 in a row after the brawl, for which Belanger received a 10-game suspension. The series would be dominated by the home team, including a dramatic comeback by Kentucky at Rupp Arena, where the Blades erased a 3-1 deficit with 4 goals on 4 shots in early March, including a hat trick by Billup Peltonen. 12 regular season games, several more brawls, and a first-round playoff loss to the eventual league champions later. It's all paved the way for a budding hatred by heated rivals. At first, it was a dream, hockey in Lexington. Would a town known around the world for great college basketball open its heart for a different game? The answer, a resounding yes.
Oh, I love it, man. It's cool. It's something different, this town. A lot of people associate Lexington with basketball. This is something new. It's great.
It's amazing to see how many people, attached on to hockey and, just the atmosphere around the rink, the way the management's run the office, the way the fans are, it's all Class A. It's like almost a little NHL team.
The kids really excite me to see them Lucky and all the other characters running around and having a great time. It's really nice to see people come out and enjoy. I think hockey is really big here in Lexington, and it's got a bright future.
I think it's really taken off. It's been great. Unbelievable support by Lexington. It's a great sport. Wherever I've come from, Toronto or Canada, it's been huge and it's been a great sport. And I think people just need to see it and see what it's about and get to know the guys.
I love the pace, the speed of the game, and the players. They're really great. They're just great.
If you told me a couple of years ago I'd be playing hockey in Lexington, I would have said you're crazy. It's been unbelievable, but the community, the fans, they've really taken to the hockey team, and it's been really exciting.
As a city, Lexington was in dire, almost desperate need for a viable form of family entertainment. I think the Thoroughblades have fit that to a T. I think in terms of promotion, in terms of introducing a new sport to a new market, what they've done has been almost exemplary.
I think it's really going to be good next year, because this year was like, they kind of fill it out, see how it's going. Next year it's going to be awesome.
Thoroughblades hockey is cool!
To build a winning team, it takes great players who can make great plays and lots of teamwork. At Freedom, we practice teamwork every day. This year we've opened Freedom North Broadway. Our team's gotten bigger, but our commitment to excellence remains the same. The Freedom team is proud to sponsor another winning team, the Kentucky Thoroughblades. Come out and see 2 winning teams at Freedom New Circle, Freedom North Broadway, and at Rupp Arena. Right, Lucky?
This video has been brought to you by Electron Farm Publications, makers of History Happens, stories from American history on music video. History Happens is an educational video collection available in schools and select retail centers nationwide and through our website at www.ushistory.com. Electron Farm, in association with FBN Motion Pictures, has also produced award-winning feature documentaries such as Warren Oates, Across the Border, and Ben Johnson, Third Cowboy on the Right.
Hi, man.
Electron Farm Publications proudly supports the Kentucky Thoroughblades.
From first face-off to last playoff, KYT was the place to be for all the Thoroughblades' premier season action. Even before the season started, KYT was on board with the Blades, stirring up fan interest and bringing hockey to the Bluegrass in a big way. Then on December 15th, 1996, KYT made sports history with the first broadcast of a live hockey game to originate from Lexington, Kentucky. Now, you can follow your Kentucky Thoroughblades into their second season only on KYT. In touch with Kentucky sports for 40 years.
Hi, Tim Woodward alongside Thoroughblades head coach Jim Wiley. And this section of Breaking the Ice is going to take a look at watching the game. Last year during our inaugural season, we talked about some of the basics of the game, such as icing and offside and two-line passes. Today we're going to talk with the Thoroughblades head coach about some of the more intricate things that go on during a hockey game that fans might be able to educate themselves a little bit better as to what exactly it is going on, Jim. And I know one thing that a lot of fans talked to me about last year was they didn't understand line changes. Talk about what goes on the bench with you and Mark Kaufman and how line changes take place.
Well, actually, line changes, it is very rudimentary with regard to hockey. The game itself, the sport itself, you cannot stay out on the ice for 60 minutes. It's physically impossible. As a result of that, there's a strategy with regard to your line changes. You have to find out each line that you have, each combination of players, whether you're working on only a forward line concept or a five-man unit complete concept of 3 forwards and 2 D. You have to find out how long they can stay out on the ice and still be productive. Certainly we've found, and most hockey teams have found, that you stay out on the ice for 40, 45 seconds and your productivity starts to go down. So one of the obvious reasons for line changes is the need for players to be able to rebuild their energy level after a shift of 45 seconds. The other reason would be for line changes to match lines. Certain players' characteristics and attributes match best against other players on the other team. So as a result, there's a constant movement in most instances where coaches will try to play a certain set of players or a certain group of players against the other team.
Talk about what goes on behind the bench with you and your assistant coach with regard to who takes the responsibility for letting the players know when to change.
Well, I think we early on in the game get in a routine, maybe a poor choice of words, but it's a flow going with one line following the other. And if you feel comfortable in that flow, you'll continue to use that flow. If, however, it's interrupted by power plays and penalty kills, etc., you may end up getting out of flow and then having to have a shift that's shorter than another in order to get back on. But basically, as coaches, we know which line is up through talking to one another and through observing. In the case where we're matching lines, we observe which line of theirs is up and therefore which line we want to match up against them.
One of the other strategies of the game that can sometimes get complex is face-offs. There's a lot of things that players can do in winning a face-off, pushing it through, drawing it back, lifting a stick. Talk about the strategy that players go through as they enter the circle about ready to take a face-off.
People should recognize that in basketball, the old jump ball is pretty much similar to what our face-off alignments are. The alignment itself changes depending on what it is you're trying to accomplish. If you're in an offensive zone type face-off, you're wanting to gain possession in order to get a shot or a scoring chance on goal. If you're in the defensive zone, you want to win and get possession so that you can make the next play out of your own zone. So the whole idea for a face-off is for possession. I think that it's very complex. It's like lines of scrimmage and plays that are called out in football. We have many players that are lined up in different settings around the circle and behind our line of scrimmage as the puck is being dropped. And they each have different responsibilities in the case of whether we win the face-off or in the case whether we lose the face-off.
One phrase that I use a lot during play-by-play, and certainly is a phrase that you also use a lot, is cycling, which usually happens during even strength play. Talk about the strategy of a team cycling in the offensive zone.
Cycling is a common term that's used now that implies a circular motion. You are taking the puck in the offensive zone, where it's most often used, the term that is, and you're moving the puck low to high, back down low to high, back down low, back up to high. And all you're doing is moving the puck around in a less dangerous situation in the case of you turn the puck over. If you turn the puck over, you still have people in that cycle movement so that they can get back in a defensive posture. It's a very high percentage type of a game. It forces the defensive team to come out in front of the net, of their net, and try to get the puck from you as you're cycling the puck down into the corner, maybe back out in front of the net, then up the wall and back down. And you can go either way with it. You can come up the wall and then back to the middle, or from down low back out in front of the net. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish at that time.
Another phrase, a phrase of the 90s, shall we say, in the professional hockey has been trapping, and this is also a defensive part of the game that teams execute, and some say it's a boring style of play, but it's also a very worldly style of play. Talk about how you can do that at the minor league level and how that might associate with what goes on with the big clubs.
We use a form of a trap, but it's not the purest trap. A trap is basically, very simply put, just like in basketball, your people are putting pressure and basically angling with pressure. You're angling that person into another area where another player on your team is waiting there, hoping to put additional pressure on a person in order to turn, in the basketball case, the ball over, in the case of hockey, to turn the puck over. Basically, that's all a trap is. You get the person that is carrying the puck up the ice thinking they only has to worry about this one person, and then all of a sudden he's got another person on him because they have slowly angled them into the trap.
Power plays and penalty kill, the specialty teams are so important. I don't want to break down every possible play that a team could do on a power play, but one thing I remember you talking about last year is that when the Thoroughblades were on a power play, you guys would try something. If it didn't work, it's up to the point man or the quarterback per se to start trying something else. How do the players on the ice know when, hey, let's go another route here?
The power play and penalty kill have certain basic components to it. And in the case of the power play, you have a breakout. So everybody knows that when that puck goes back into our end, in order for us to bring it back down to the other team's end, we have certain breakout positions. And within those positions, we provide ourselves many, many different options for the players out on the ice to either get the puck or get and do with it what we want to have done. We either look for the opportunity on our breakout to carry the puck down the ice and dump it in and then go outman somebody to get the puck, or we look for the attack on the line rush for where we may outnumber somebody right off the bat and get a clear-cut shot right towards the net. After that, you have what we call retrieving the puck. After a shot on the initial attack, we retrieve the puck. We get into certain settings, if you will, like the breakout, only we have settings in the in-zone offense, the power play in-zone offense. Now we have people who know specifically where they're supposed to go. And so we have to have many options or multiple options that allow us to observe what the other team is doing and then pick the right option to have the kind of success you need to have.
Last year it was Hockey 101. I think in the last 7 minutes here we've had 201, 301, 401, and maybe even 410 graduate class. Coach, thanks again and best of luck to you this year.
Thank you, Tim.
We'll have a final word with Thoroughblades owner Ron DiGregorio coming up.
It was quite a year, wasn't it? And we have a great year planned ahead beginning in October. There are some interesting changes this year in the American Hockey League, and one of them is a new competitor nearby, the Cincinnati Mighty Ducks. They join the Philadelphia Phantoms and our friends, the Hershey Bears, in our Mid-Atlantic Division. In fact, Cincinnati will help us get rockin' on October 3rd with our first home game in the 1997-98 season. You made year one great. We hope to make year two greater still. Get ready to rumble at the Rupp. Cool guys, cool game. Want to go?